Hello, my name is Rabecca Moriku and I am from South Sudan. I have been working with Oxfam for nearly 2 years before I came onto the Human Rights Advocacy Program at Columbia University. I was working on a program called Peace and Prosperity Promotion Program, which is a conflict transformation and peace building program that tries to address key driving factors of conflict within and among communities. My specific role, among others, in this program is ensuring that gender is mainstream in the programs by ensuring that men and especially women's decisions and voices are heard and are included into the design, implementation and monitoring of the program. This is a way to make sure that it's an inclusive process and that women and men, boys and girls are all included in, finding solutions to issues that affect them in the community. Apart from my work with Oxfam, I am also a member of a task force for engagement of women that is being supported by the Institute for Inclusive Security. The idea of this task force was born out of a joint communique that was released by Coalition of Women Leaders from Sudan and South Sudan. They highlighted the sheer absence and underrepresentation of women in political and formal peace processes, and therefore they recommended for a robust advocacy and lobbying political leaders, decision makers, policy makers to increase the participation and representation of women in all these formal peace processes in both countries. So the membership of this task force is including men and especially majority women from Sudan and South Sudan to work on the Night Cooperation Agreement, which is a post-independence bilateral agreement between Sudan and South Sudan, to advocate for more women's representation in the implementation of these agreements. We were initially focusing on 4 areas of border demarcation, citizenship, security arrangements, and the status of ABA. But because of the current crisis in South Sudan, each group of women and men from both countries are focusing on individual country issues. And for South Sudan, we are currently working very closely with stakeholders in the in the formal peace process happening in the country. We have been working since the beginning of December 2013 when the conflict broke out. We've been working with stakeholders at regional level and also at national level. We have worked with the AU Commission of Inquiry that is investigating human rights abuses in South Sudan, and we have worked with the monitoring and verification team that is also tasked with the implementation and monitoring of the cessation of hostility agreement between the government and the opposition leader. We try to push for inclusion of grassroots women, their voices into the process, and also make sure that more women are actually part of this process and they're included in the team. For example, providing a safe space for women to be able to talk and to be able to report abuses to the team that is collecting information. Why am I doing all this? I am 2 things for me. One is my experience living in a refugee camp for more than 16 years of my entire good life is in itself a motivation. Seeing my mother carry the brunt of conflict and, because her husband, my father, was killed in the bush fighting for justice, fighting for liberation of marginalized community in South Sudan is in itself a pain in one hand, but on the other hand, it's a motivation that makes me do this kind of work. Looking at my mother and other women like her struggle every day to take up roles which our society believes to be for men, and ensuring that their families are protected, ensuring that their families have food, their kids go to school and have clothing to wear, makes me feel that there's nothing that a woman can do. My mother stood up for us. My mother made decisions on behalf of the family, and that to me tells me that there is nothing that a woman can do, and there is no reason why we should alienate a population that is making half of the population of South Sudan from decision-making process.